Hello, children. Good morning to everyone. How are you all? I hope you're all fine and watching all the videos properly. And I hope you're all following all the classes regularly and studying properly. Keep watching all the videos and study all the lessons properly. Today, we are going to learn science subject. We have completed 8 lessons in science. Yes? Yes, children, we have completed 8 lessons. What is the previous lesson? We learnt about weather and seasons in the previous lesson. Weather is nothing but how hot, cold, windy, or cloudy a day is. What is season? When the weather is the same for many days, we call that as season. This is what we learnt in the previous lesson and the different season. Summer, winter, rainy, autumn, spring. And we have learnt about the specifications in that seasons. Today we are going to learn a new lesson. We'll move on to lesson number 9. Look at this. We will start with the poem. And this poem is like a riddle. And when you read the poem, you will come to know what the lesson is going to teach us and what is the topic of the lesson. I will read the poem one by one, line by line. You will understand what are we going to learn about. I'll read. I freeze when I'm cold, and I fall softly as snow. I melt in the sun, and down mountains I flow. I fill up lakes and rivers, and make waves in the sea. I rise into the sky and float light and free. I am in the air and soil, and inside your body too. I fall from the sky as rain, and glisten on leaves as dew. Can you guess what is the topic of the lesson? What are we going to learn about? What will fill up the lake and river? Yes, you are correct. We are going to learn about water. Water is very, very important in our life, right? Yes, it is very, very important in our life. Without water, we can't live. All plants and animals need water. Yes, yes. What are the uses of water in our daily life? Water is very important to us in many ways. What are the uses? It is used for bathing, drinking, washing, cleaning, cooking, watering plants. Yes, yes. We daily use it for drinking, cooking, washing, cleaning, bathing, everything. And we also need it for growing the plants because plants only give us food, right? To grow all the plants, we need water. We must water all the plants, then only the plants will grow nicely and give us food. There is a lot of water in our body also. Am I right? Yes. For example, blood. What is the nature of the blood? It is mostly water, right? It is in liquid nature and it is mostly water. Other animals and plants also have lots of water in them. Look at this picture. These are some vegetables and fruits have lot of water. In this picture you can see tomatoes, grapes, cucumber, onion, spinach, carrot. All these fruits and vegetables have lots of water in them. Okay. Look at this. This is a cucumber and some of the fruits like grapefruit, peach, strawberry, radish, celery, watermelon, cucumber, cantaloupe, zucchini, tomato. All these things also have lots of water in them. When we eat all these fruits and vegetables, we will also get more amount of water in our body. Have you understood, children? Yes. You know one thing about water? Water will win when it participates in fancy dress party. What is fancy dress party? We all know fancy dress competition, right? Fancy dress competition means we dress like someone and act like that person, right? That is called fancy dress competition. When the water participates in fancy dress competition, definitely it could win in that competition. Why? Because the water can change its form. It looks different and even vanish. What do you mean by vanish? Vanish means மறைஞ்சு போகிறது. Okay, it looks different also. Look at this picture. Right side you have a tumbler of water. Left side you have a ice cube tray. This tumbler of water cooled or freezed, it changes into ice cubes. When these ice cubes heated, it melts into water. So this water change into ice, then ice change to water. So water can change its form. That is what I told you. When if the water participates in fancy dress competition, definitely it could win the prize. That is what I told you about. Next, look at this picture. What is this? This is an ice cube. What happened to this ice cube? This ice cubes melts. That is why you can see the water around the ice cube. Does it have a shape? Yes, the ice cubes have shape. Whatever the container we pour the water, that container shape the ice cube gets. இந்த கண்டெய்னரில் நம்ம வாட்டரை ஊற்றி ஃப்ரீசரில் வைக்கிறோமோ அதே கண்டெய்னர் ஷேப்பு ஐஸ் க்யூப்ஸ்க்கு கிடைக்கும். That is what I told you. Ice cubes get the shape whatever the container is. Okay, so ice cube have shape. It has a shape and it is white in color. Look at this. It has a shape, right? Ice cube have shape and it is white in color. Is the water have shape or color? No. Look at this picture. The ice cubes can be picked up with the tongs. You can pick up the ice cube with the help of tongs, but you cannot pick up the water like this, right? You cannot pick up the water with your bare hands or with the tongs, but you can pick up the ice cubes because ice cubes has shape, but the water doesn't have shape, so you cannot pick up the water. And look at this picture. You can pour the water into the glass, but you cannot pour the ice cubes, right? Because water is in liquid state, but the ice cubes in solid state. So when it is liquid, you can pour. ஊற்ற முடியும் டம்ளரில். ஐஸ் க்யூபை ஊற்ற முடியுமா? முடியாது. Yes, water can be poured into some container, but ice cubes cannot be poured into. And ice cubes can be picked up with something, tongs, but water cannot be picked up with something. Okay, have you understood, children? Yes, still ice and water are two forms of the same thing. Yes, ice is solid and water is liquid. Have you understood? Yes, the water freezes into ice. Water freezes into ice when we cool it. When we heat the ice cubes, what happens? It melts into water. When you take the ice cubes from the freezer out, after sometimes you can see it will melt. Why? Because the outside temperature is little warmer than the freezer temperature. Freezer is very cool, but the outside temperature is warmer, little warmer. That is why the ice cubes melt. So you can understand that heat makes the ice melt into water. Have you understood, children? Yes, very good. Next, look at this picture. What you are seeing in this picture? In this picture, water is heated. When water is heated, what happens? You can see water vapor is coming out. நீர் ஆவியை நம்ம பார்க்க முடியுது. The water vapor is coming out. Why water vapor is coming out? So when water vapor is going out, it vanishes. பார்க்க முடியல. Yes, because water vapor you cannot see the color or shape of the. Why? The heat changes the water into gaseous form. Okay, that is why you cannot see the color or shape of it. It changes into a gaseous form. This is called water vapor. Have you understood, children? It doesn't really vanish. It is not vanish. How can you say it is not vanished? Because when the water vapor is cooled, again when it is cooled, it changes into water. Let's see. Look at this. When you cover a boiling water with the lid, you can see like this. The water vapors in the lid. Just check out. In your home, you cover the lid. You cover the hot water with the lid. After some time, if you take out the lid and see, you can see the water vapor in the lid like this. So look at this picture. A mug has some hot water, and you cover that water with the bowl. Okay, when you cover it, what happened? You can see some water vapor in that bowl, under that bowl, right? Yes, drops of water will form outside the bowl. What happened? When you take out and see, when the cold air touches it, automatically it flows into the bowl. Okay, this is what happens. Look at this picture. What is this? You put a few cubes of ice in a glass of water. Okay, and what happened? When you keep it outside, you can change the water vapors outside the glass. Why? Because it mixes with the air all around. You cannot see it because it is colorless. Yes, the water vapor in the air, because the air also has some water vapor, that water vapor changes into water. Why? When it comes near to the cold glass, when you put ice cubes in the tumbler, it is cold, right? It becomes very cold. The outside air comes in contact with the glass, cold glass. The water vapor comes out. Okay, this is what happens in this experiment. You can do all these experiments in your home and see what happens, and you can learn on yourself. Then you will never forget in your life. Have you all understood, children? Yes. Next, look at this picture. This is the water cycle. You all must learn this and you must understand what it is. Okay, look at this picture. The water in the ocean or lake or river, wherever water is there, right? That water is evaporated. When it is evaporated? the sun comes out, and because of the heat of the sun, the water is getting evaporated, so the water vapor comes up. What happened to that water vapor? It rises up. Why it rises up? Because it is very light, it is not heavy. The water vapor is very light and it is not heavy, so it rises up like a balloon, it floats. What happened? High above the ground, the air is cold, right? Yes. So the water vapor rises, it gets cooled by the cold air. Then it changes into tiny drops of water and forms clouds. Have you understood, children? Yes, because above the ground the air is cold. When the water vapor comes up, the cold air mixes with that water vapor and forms tiny drops of water, and that tiny drops of water forms clouds. So what are clouds? Clouds are nothing but tiny drops of water. That is the main thing you must learn. What are clouds? Up in the sky you can see many clouds, right? What are those things? The clouds are tiny drops of water. Tiny means kutti kuttiya, kutti kuttiya. Tiny drops of water only, clouds. They can float in the sky, right? The clouds are floating in the sky. Why? Because the tiny drops of water is very light, not heavy. That is why the clouds are floating. Okay. When it becomes heavy, the tiny drops of water, it's becoming more, so the clouds are joining, right? When the clouds are joining, what happened? The water content inside the clouds are become heavy, it is more. What happened? When it becomes heavy, they fall as rain. Look at this picture. There are some white clouds, they are very light. When they are joined up, the water content is more, the cloud become heavy and the cloud looks gray in color, and then they fall as rain. Okay. Okay, sometimes it becomes very cold high above the ground. Look at this picture. Some mountains have snowfall. Why snowfall is there? Because high up the ground, high above the ground, the air temperature is very cold. When it is cold, no, the clouds inside that tiny drops of water is there. Yes, inside the clouds you have tiny drops of water. The tiny drops of water freeze because there is very cold temperature is there, right? Above the mountain you have very cold air. That is why what happened? The clouds become freeze, so it turned into snow, and that is how it snows in cold places above the mountain. In cold places, this is how snowfall is there. Okay, the cloud freezes, that is why snowfall is there. Again, what happened? Look at this. The heat of the sun warms the snow on the ground. There is a snow on the ground, right? Snowfall is there. So above the ground you can see the snowfall, or above the mountain you can see the snowfall. When the sun comes up, what happened? All the snow will melts, right? And again it changes into water. This is what happens. This is the water cycle. Okay. From the ocean it goes up like water vapor, form a clouds, then the cloud joins, and then it follows rain, and some areas it follows snow. Then because of the heat and sun it melts, and again it changes into water and join in the ocean. This is what happens in the water cycle. Look at this. You can do this experiment in your home with the help of your parents. Take a glass jar. Okay, pour hot water into that jar and cover the mouth with the bowl and put some ice cubes in that bowl. ஒரு கிளாஸ் ஜார் எடுத்துட்டு அதில் நல்லா ஹாட் வாட்டர் ஊற்றிட்டு மேலே வந்து ஒரு சின்ன போல் வச்சு மூடணும். அந்த பவுலில் ஐஸ் க்யூப்ஸ் போடணும். Have you understood, children? Okay. What happens next? Soon you can see some white clouds in the jar. Why? Why? What is happening there? Because the top of the jar is cold and the water vapor rising from the hot water, it gets cold by the bowl because the bowl has ice cubes in it, so it gets cooled and changes into tiny drops of water and forms clouds. So you can see some clouds inside the jar, and after some times it will rain. Rain means it fall down on the wall of the jar. Have you understood, children? You can do this experiment in your home and see. So, have you all understood the lesson? These are all the important points in this lesson. You must understand that water is in liquid state and it freezes into ice. Ice is in solid state and it melts into water. The water vapor is in gaseous state. It changes into water when we cool it. Okay? Have you all understood? These are all the things you have to remember in this lesson. And again, one more thing, clouds are tiny drops of water. That also you must remember in this lesson. I hope you have understood all these things about water. When you understand this, you can explain to your parents and they will be happy about it when you explain all these things to them. Okay, children? Okay. Thank you.